A very good morning to our lecturer and my fellow friends. Today, my groupmates and I are going to present or do a movie review about A Beautiful Mind. My name is Sanjeev Raj, metric number 263176, and today I'll be presenting about the psychological issues, type of psychological disorder, and also schizophrenia disorder. So, first is the psychological issue. The Beautiful Mind, the movie that we were reviewing about a mathematician having illusions about three people and almost killing few people in his life and changed his life. So therefore, the movie is about schizophrenia, where we able to see the function of schizophrenia with the subject's consciousness and at the same time having different roles in the mind. This great mathematician is prejudicial or murderous because of this mental illness. He almost took his son's life when he wanted to bathe his son at one moment, and it's because of this mental illness.
Almost done. Charles, you just watch the baby. Got one more. No. Right there.
Schizophrenia patients appear to be confused or abnormal, do not know which one is real and which is not real. And the obstacles they face are auditory hallucination and also visual illusion, which means to hear something that is not there and to see something that is not there.
It's what you are, soldier? Some useless ghoul? The local madman? I'm not a soldier. You're gonna end up in a cell! Old! Worthless! Discarded! There's no mission. And while you rock and drool, the world will burn to ashes! You are not real! You are not real! You're still talking to me, soldier! There's no mission! I'm not a soldier! John? John? Hey, John.
And the symptoms are they are easily provoked depression and they have anxiety. Types of psychological disorder. Well, this film shows us the psychological barriers. The patient or the main character has hallucination and delusion as the main disorder in this movie. John Nash decrypts the terrorist communication when called by the Ministry of Defense to the Pentagon. He, he deciphers all the telecommunication with ease. Therefore, he felt like a hero saving the nation in danger, and this made him feel better, and also made the delusions more worse. And he was so deluded until he almost murdered. He was so nervous that he was being followed by someone, and because of that, he was always worried. And he also had behavioral disorders, which means he don't know how to behave well. And some of it includes not participating in activities, and he don't want to be any contact with people around him, and he is easily detached from the reality. About schizophrenia disorder. Schizophrenia is actually a mental illness, and the most common symptoms that we see is the fake beliefs or the delusion and hallucination. They also have social cognitive impairment. These patients have other mental health conditions as well, such as anxiety, depression, and also sometimes substance abuse. Schizophrenia is usually prescribed with antipsychotic drugs. They only help them to remain calm, but they do not help with the negative impacts and also the cognitive impairment significantly. Clozapine is used when all the other antipsychotic drugs will not work on a schizophrenia patient. They also have other solutions such as consultation and social rehabilitation to help the patient to be normal and to act like how they were before the mental illness as well. Sometimes some patients are required to have compulsory hospitalization if they bring harm to the people around them and to themselves as well, which we could see in the movie as well, where the patient do not know which one is real and which one is not real and followed his delusion and hallucination to murder people. That's all for me, thank you, and I pass to the next presenter.
Now it's my turn. as a second presenter to talk more about our group opinion for A Beautiful Mind film. And hi, my name is Nurul Jannah binti Yahaya. My metric number is 265546. So as for the next question, I'm going to brief you more about how would the life be when living with this psychological disorder. What are the impacts of this psychological disorder have on oneself as well as to the other people in his life? And the last question is, what are the factors that cause the character in this movie to live with this psychological disorder? First and foremost, let's go deeply into the life when living with schizophrenia disorder. In my opinion, the life of someone with this schizophrenia disorder will turn into something that is difficult to control. It can cause them to lose their career, home, beloved family, and friends. In Malaysia, this disease is considered serious and difficult to diagnose mental disorder. It occurs due to an increase in the neurotransmitter dopamine in the brain that can cause strange behaviors, such as being rude to people around and injuring yourself. Individuals with chronic schizophrenia, category mental illness, typically fail to respond well in their daily life. They are sometimes able to hear voice that others do not hear, and they believe that others are reading their mind and are often talking about something that does not make sense. This film successfully conveys about the suffering of someone with schizophrenia in their daily life. John Nash showed numerous examples for characterize schizophrenia. He gives signs of several illusions, hallucination, delusion, and paranoia. The hallucinations start in the beginning parts of his life at Princeton, where he had an imaginary roommate named Charles. Later in the film, it was proven that Charles and his niece Marcy were firmly inventions characters brought about by the schizophrenia. Nash Fahrenheit overcome him and he would not attend lectures, avoided personal contact with people, and become withdrawn to his good discipline. And then now we are done with the life when living with schizophrenia disorder. Next, we have the impact of schizophrenia disorder to the other people in John's life. Symptoms for schizophrenia differ and the effect on regular daily existence can go from problematic to life-changing. Work, school, and home life will all be able to be influenced by schizophrenia symptoms. Indeed, even the early symptoms of schizophrenia can impact an individual's school and social life. This is because if a person suffers from schizophrenia, he is unable to take care of himself. The propensity to pull out from others and show inappropriate mood behavior can make relationship difficult. When hearing voice or being delusional, the individual with schizophrenia is likely not able to take an interest in home and family life. One scene that will be the best example of the negative symptoms of schizophrenia is a scene where John believed that he was called upon by the United States government to become a secret agent and breaking codes. Through that, John met a mysterious government agent named William Parker, who controlled his life for several years, elevating him to kill his wife. The proof of the cognitive symptom, likewise with any disease, is more difficult to see externally in an individual suffering schizophrenia. John Nash was not a social person, and I believe that this is attributed to the failure of expressing thought and feelings caused by the illness. Alright, now we are moving on to the factor that caused the character in this movie to live with schizophrenia disorder. It starts from the pressures of entering Princeton University with so many demands. He had to be ostentatious than any of his peers. Getting married made his schizophrenia deteriorate because of the pressure of attempting to be a good husband, which could be seen through the film that his indication deteriorate after he got married. Having a kid throws everything over the edge, which was seen when he nearly drowned his own child. The more distressing his life turned into, the more his mind can recognize reality and fantasy. Like some other disorders, genetic plays a main factor in a transfer of disorder from mother and father to the child. In a current research, it was proposed that schizophrenia is caused by a genetic vulnerability paired with environmental and psychosocial stressors. This model can explain the primary disorder by beginning at the root of the problem. The believer of this model would state that most disorders begin from genetics, from a direct family member. I also believe that genetics assume a major part in what is passed down from generation to another generation. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Syahmi bin Zain. I'm a matrix 271386. I am the third presenter, and I'm going to present about what a terrorist that can be found in the theories of psychology that can be found in the Beautiful Mind movie. Okay. There's three theories that can be found and can be related to the movies or the character himself, which is the first one is a theory of mind, the second is the theory of humanistic, and the third one is the theory of emotions. The first one, theory of mind. So theory of mind is a critical social cognitive talent that entails the ability to think about your own and others' mental states. The theory of mind encompasses not only the ability to think, but also the ability to recognize that others people's views and belief may differ from your own, and to evaluate the cause that have led to those mental states. There's a study that numerous studies that they can be found. People with schizophrenia have special challenge in inferring what others mean, believe, or pretend, and this theory of mind deficit likely affects how schizophrenia patients use the language and understand speech. Okay, there's actually one scene that can be related to this theory, which is the scene where John himself, the main character, when they diagnosed with the schizophrenia, he was trying to introduce himself, but ended up offended of the people over there. And there's one person that he offended by saying that his study of mathematical stuff was wrong, and then he just go like that. That's why I think this story are related to that part. Next is the theory of humanistic. So humanistic theory is a viewpoint that emphasizes the full person and promotes notions, such as free will, self-efficacy, and self-actualizations. And humanistic psychology, rather of focusing on this function, seeks to help people reach their full potential and optimize their well-being. Theory of humanistic usually can be used to treat depression. Nowadays, they use that to treat depressions, anxiety, personality disorder, and of course schizophrenia patient himself. Okay, there's John Carl Roger used to say that, which is John Carl, this American psychologist, said that as myself, I am only the only one that can change. Okay, that is what Carl Rogers said. And there's actually two scenes that I want to say that related to this movie, related to the theory. The first scene is where John are forced to take medicine, which will have to make a decision whether to take medicine, which will hinder his study and research in mathematics, or he should just stop taking medicine and just deal with the schizophrenia himself and try to face it. And that's one of the scene that can relate to the theory. And the second one is this one.
This is real. Maybe the part that knows the waking from the dream. Maybe it isn't here. Maybe it's here. I need to believe that something extraordinary is possible.
Next is the theory of emotions. So, theory of emotion is frequently characterized in psychology as a complicated state of feelings that result in bodily and psychological changes that influence thoughts and behavior. And emotionality is linked to a variety of psychology variables such as temperament, personality, mood, and motivation. Snyder's singer theory can be related with one scene with Alicia. This scene can be seen in the next video.
Good day everyone, my name is Raghu. Today I'm going to present for types of personality for the film A Beautiful Mind. There are three types of personality. The first one is loyalty person, the second one is positive thinker, and the third one is protective person. Before that, I would like to explain on a small briefing on the movie. The film A Beautiful Mind deals with a mathematician who wants to become a Nobel in the future. There are some very relevant messages from the story of Nash disease and rehabilitants. The film's A Beautiful Mind deals with a mathematician who wants to become the Nobel in the future. There are some very relevant messages from the story of Nash disease and rehabilitants. The first types of personality is loyalty person. Alice is really dedicated to love her husband, while the job becoming more energetic and, according to John's estimation, conspirative. Alice would like to do everything within her authority to support John. Alice wants nothing more than a stable marriage with her husband, John, but she will have to work for it. The second is positive thinker. Alice still speaks to other positive people positively and understand them easily. In this film, even after John was the victim of the disease, we can see that Alice was very hopeful. John started to demonstrate symptoms of full-blown psychosis and cognitive disorder after his first child, John, and Alice's pregnancy. And the third personality is protective person. Alice is a protective person. She just does what the best for her family. She would like go whatever length to keep her family safe and happy. For example, after John started to experience symptoms of full-blown anxiety and cognitive disorders, Alice and his friends were forced to make her thought decision and admit her husband to the hospital and stabilize him for several months before his release. Alice did everything she could help him deal with the sickness.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Suhailah binti muslimin. My number meter is 25789. I will present for part type of learning. The type of learning in this movie is cognitive learning. First is cognitive learning that based on a person thought process with their internal mental that enable them to acquire knowledge, accept and recall store knowledge for use. In the film, Jonas have a creative mind in understanding, completing a study with natural movement. Jonas can solve the algorithm he created with his own idea, and Jonas was eventually accepted into Wheeler Defense Lab at MIT. With the skill that he had, he continued his mission in his hallucinatory world. However, he realized quickly. The second is cognitive learning also involves the mental process that have effect on a person's behavior. This process enable a person have a thinking skill that make a person focus on a phenomena such as perception or attention. In the film, Jonas has suffered from psychological disorder that called schizophrenia. This disturbance made Jonas begin to hallucinate and create character in his delusion. Jonas hallucinated by meeting three unreal people, that namely Charles Harmon, William Porcher, and Marcy. Yet, Jonas began to realize when Marcy appeared after 10 years later, but Marcy was still the same as he knew her. Jonas, aware of his condition, and met Dr. Rosen. The third is cognitive learning also involved the process of perception, evaluation, and problem solving. In the film, Jonas starts to realize that there is something wrong with him and realize they don't exist in real world. Jonas wants to find a solution to the problem in himself, and his wife helped Jonas by encouraging him to return to the university in the hope he could restore his former self. After the year, Jonas make an improvement and get used to the presence of those who still follow him, and finally, Jonas managed to find a solution in his life with confidence, motivation, and encouragement from the people he loved.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nurul Jannah and my metric number is 265805. I will present about the movie which is A Beautiful Mind for the question F, which is motivation intrinsic and motivation extrinsic. Motivation intrinsic is the act of doing something that does not have any obvious internal reward. It is enjoyable and interesting, and it not because of any outside incentive or pressure, like reward or demand. This motivation because of internally rewarding, and it can choose to do it because of fun, enjoyable, and satisfying. The goal comes from the within, and the goal are satisfying the say psychological needs for autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Second is motivation is extrinsic. Motivation extrinsic is referred to the behavior of individual to perform tasks and learn new skill of internal work, avoidance of punishment. This motivation gain external reward. Then this motivation involve external gains such as money, fame, power, uh, and avoiding a consequence. The goal comes from the outside, and the goal also focus on an outcome and does not satisfy basic psychological needs. In this scene, main character is John Nash, show that he can be described as an arrogant man that proud with his ingenuity. And this in this scene showed that for the other situation, when he play with Martin, when he lose the game, he can't accept it. For the motivation intrinsic in this movie, show that in this scene, other characters play a role to help John Nash recover from the illness. As we can see, John's wife, which is Alicia, and Dr. Rosen help John Nash to make sure he will be in normal life like others. That's all from us. Thank you for watching this video.